Say, kids, what time is it?
It's kind of like watching TV, but, in your car.
104.7 The Cave. Mike, the intern, in the studio this morning with Jay Stevens, who has not turned his phone down
I did
yet,
turn it off,
but he
and
just
it turns it back up again. I don't get it.
I don't know. We're still trying to figure out this thing. It's
8 years into this, and we haven't figured it out yet.
It's Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7 The Cave, and this week it was Jay's turn. He picked the docu-series Heist on Netflix, which
really good watch.
It was. It tells three different stories, two of which are in two parts, actually, about some heists that took a lot of money.
And a lot of balls.
A lot of balls. Part one of them, at least the first one, was, I think, all about being young and just saying, throw caution to the wind and see if we can pull this off, which they actually did. But before we get into these individual stories, Jay and I are going to come clean on some of the stuff that we probably don't want to talk about on the air. But Jay, have you ever stolen anything?
Boy, gosh, I think when I was a young lad, my buddy lived across from an auto parts store in L.A., and he said that he used to go up on the roof and hang out for some reason, who knows why. And he said there was a hole in the roof or some way to get down to the store, so he came up with the master plan of we were going to go at night to the roof, climb into this store, and steal. I don't know what we planned on stealing from an auto parts store at 13 years old probably. But we did it, went down there, and then there was a sensor beam like in the movies, and he tried to do like James Bond and go under the sensor beam, and he set that sensor beam off, and we had to scramble out of this auto parts store, run across the street, just got in his house, locked the door, and here comes all the police and sirens swarming the building.
Did you guys watch from outside?
We peeked through the window and watched. So we did not get caught, but also our grand heist wasn't worth much.
So that was it. Lesson learned early on in life.
Yeah.
I went on a backpacking trip in December in Colorado. It was awful. We were not prepared. I almost died.
In December? Like this past December?
No, it was when I think I was 17, maybe 18. I was about to turn 18. But yeah, we thought we were prepared. We're not prepared. I could get into that whole thing about how I almost died, but that's not the point of it. On the way in, we stopped in Boulder, Colorado, and there was this shop that we walked into, and this guy was just being such a turd to us, just like looking us around, following us around. And so each one of us took something from the guy, which I still have. It was a Sherpa beanie. That was the only thing in my life, at least that I can remember, that I've taken. That was mine, and it's just because that guy was being a jerk.
Me and Mike just aren't good thieves.
We're not.
Sorry.
No, we're not.
I steal a lot of hearts.
Yeah, right. Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7 The Cave, discussing the heart, or not the heart, the heist. And,
see, I'm in your heart now. I'm in your head.
Jay's already stolen my heart.
I've entered you, and not through your anus.
Okay, it's Dark Side of the Stream discussing the heist, and we'll get to the first story next on 104.7 The Cave. 104.7 The Cave, Mike the intern, Jay Stevens back in the studio. Dark Side of the Stream discussing Heist. It's on Netflix, and it's a docu-series that talks about three different heists, and we will go into these individual stories now in our next breaks. The first one, titled Sex Magic, spelled with a CK, money and murder, and I'll get into that in a second.
You knew right out the gate this is Jay Stevens' name.
Literally what I told him when I said, hey, you ready to do this thing? He goes, yeah. And I was like, I knew it was you. As soon as I saw that first part one, which was Sex Magic, and I was like, oh, hell yeah, that's what I'm into. Let's see what this
Magic, I need to get in on this.
If you're not familiar with what Sex Magic is, Ozzy, Jimmy Page, all those guys were totally into it. It's Aleister Crowley's Sex Magic, which he wasn't like a founder or anything, but he was definitely a big proponent of it. Which
probably a good name for a band. Sex Magic.
I'm surprised there isn't Sex Magic, but basically Sex Magic is the idea that orgasms are so powerful that you can actually will your way when you are practicing these things to happen. It's almost like a vision board.
That's how I got the job here.
It's almost like a vision board of sorts. It's the idea that, magic is your will. Like if you want something bad enough, if you will it, it will happen.
Yeah, it's true. I feel it's true. It's true. I'm not sure where the sex comes into play, but you will having sex. I'm going to will having sex with her, and then it works. I mean,
that particular part of it would be chaos
just
magic.
Make it stronger.
Well, yeah, because it would be like chaos magic is the idea that if you believe in something as much as you will it, you can will it with your will, and that the mind is strong enough to do anything it can, set its mind to. Sex magic is kind of in the same thing, but you're using sex as the tool to get to the goal. That's what this 21-year-old did with a man who she was hooking up with, and basically this
charismatic guy, right?
Yeah.
Like a Night Stalker kind of a character.
Roberto Salas, who was a prison poet and had been paroled. And hooks up with this chick, and they basically pulled off one of the largest armored truck robberies in Las Vegas history. Now, here is where it gets interesting. They were able to make it out. It was like $30 million or something.
So got away with the money. Yep.
Scot-free. 90s.
Very good plan they had. All these have very good plans that these heists lay out. Like,
yeah,
props to these guys. Yeah. They're smart criminals.
The first one was probably, I think, the best, like as far as getting done, because they made it until 2005, and the only reason they got caught was because she got pregnant, had a son, and was like, I don't want to raise him on the run. I want him to know who his family is. She became a mother and understood that when that happens, you've got to step up to the plate, and she did. So she turned herself in.
The dude dipped out, and he's still running free,
they
cashing
have no
those
idea
checks,
where he is, and
having more sex magic with more girls.
Hey, man, if he's $50 million richer, I'm sure that'll go for the rest of his life.
Abracadabra.
This is Dark Side of the Stream. I hope you're watching us on the stream, because
I'm doing magic right now.
Doing magic
the first
right
time
now.
we ever performed magic, mind-blowing magic.
That's blowing my mind, dude.
Show.
Oh my God, I'm hypnotized. He doesn't have a thumb. It's Dark Side of the Stream, discussing the heist on 104.7 The Cave. 104.7 The Cave. Mike the Intern, Jay Stevens back in the studio. It is Dark Side of the Stream, discussing The Heist on Netflix. Now we are to the second episode, or excuse me, it was 2 and 3 was the second story they put these
second
into.
Story. My
parts.
favorite of the 3.
This one was your favorite, the Miami International Airport?
One. And it had some really good stressful moments.
So the heist itself was like, holy moly.
Another baller, $100 million they're trying to grab.
I believe you pulled this off. So tell me about it. Why was it so stressful? I mean,
well, just the whole lead up to it and getting the guys together, and then it was like I felt the excitement, the rush of it, and these characters, man, were all very unique characters, kind of like that Operation Odessa, just really unique characters involved in this heist.
A level of stress and I guess balls, if you will.
Money is heavier than you think, so if you're stealing money, make sure you plan ahead.
That's the other thing.
That's what screwed them on getting they couldn't get as much as they wanted to because it was too heavy to carry.
And that's the thing. Like that means more people involved, and that means the chance for someone to screw up. And that was kind of the case in this one, where if you let's just put it this way: if you ever decide to pull off a heist and you have to involve anyone other than yourself in the heist, which you probably will if you want to pull it off, and get away, a big heist, make sure that they don't spend the money. Make sure they don't flash it. Make sure they show up back to work on Monday.
All of a sudden have a lot of money.
Don't just all of a sudden like show up with
now
a Lambo.
Basically, we're teaching people how to launder money now.
Yeah.
Slowly leak it in.
Put it like slow. Buy a kind of a rundown house, and fix it up.
Slowly but surely.
No red flags. And
keep working your job. Don't go in there deuces.
The who is part of this.
Your mouth's not moving.
Oh my God!
Just keep talking.
I will. I just hopefully it's working. Time.
I froze you in time.
In particular was, they got away with 7.4, and the mastermind behind this got busted, but he only spent 11 years in jail.
Yeah, they all got fairly off pretty easy, and a lot of money still out there that they didn't find or they didn't spend. So
that's the second thing. How much money is worth your time?
For these guys.
I mean, especially since they only recovered like 1.5 million of the 7+ million that they stole. They're out there $6 million.
And I like this story morphed because it had so many layers. Like hey, go rough up our friend, then the kidnappers say, well, wait a minute, we're going to get in on this. It's crazy.
That was a whole nother thing because...
you're back, by the way.
Hey, thanks.
My sex magic wore off.
It only lasts for about 15 seconds.
The best 15 seconds of your life, though.
Well, I disappeared, so I can't really tell you what happened. But yeah, you're right. The guy that was flashing it, they were like, okay, dude, you're not doing what you're saying. We're going to get you. And that then in itself, and it really is probably why the FBI threw the book at him as far as giving him 11 years, was more about the kidnapping and extortion plot, because that was involved in it too. But like I said, in this section of Dark Side of the Stream, if you do plan on pulling off a heist, make sure you trust the guys and make sure they understand. Don't flash the money.
Don't talk.
Don't flash the money. We've got one more part of this heist to talk about next. Dark Side of the Stream returns in just a few minutes on 104.7 The Cave. 104.7 The Cave, Mike the Intern, Jay Stevens back in the studio, Dark Side of the Stream, discussing Heist, and we are to the final story in this docu-series, which is on Netflix. If you haven't watched it, it was a good one. The thing that I kind of know some guys that actually do drink whiskey, and I do know that it is a definitely as far as
rich man's drink, dude.
Yeah, if you got the money, there are bottles of whiskey that'll net you over $1,000, if not $4,000, which just like it blows my mind. But that's the fact, and it tells a story about this guy who was essentially stealing bottles of whiskey, and
he was a hustler in general. He would flip things, buy things, get things. Somebody wanted.
He was like
steroids.
A softball coach or something like that.
Softball team guy, and he
just a guy.
It just kind of made connections with, hey, you want this? Yeah, I bet I can get that for you. And middleman on some things. And he was actually doing it pretty smart because he was just the middleman. He wasn't like really jacking the stuff.
No,
right?
and the other thing about this one is a great example of how sometimes people get too greedy. I honestly believe if this guy had just kind of like kept it on the low and just kind of
here and there.
He's making maybe 20, 30 extra a year doing this. Yeah. No one would have even known.
Don't shoot for the moon.
No, man. So really, if you find a way to make money and it's kind of a little
iffy,
sleazy, if you will, a little greasy, if you will, don't get greedy. Just take what you got and just accept that. And a lot of times these people get really greedy and that's how they get busted. Yep. So, I thought all in all, Heist was definitely worth my time.
Well, the third one had the best twist at the end.
Well,
because the guy who actually did all the stealing got off scot-free.
Well,
and he got pinned on these guys.
He got pinned on these guys. And the guy that also kind of got scot-free because he got sentenced to, 15 years?
Yeah, he kind of got out earlier.
And then they gave him shock probation, which is like, I mean.
So, again, these guys kind of pulled the Heist off.
Sorry about your camera.
Yeah,
that was all me. I slammed my hands down because I'm angry.
Got so excited.
The thing that blows my mind is you got people in jail right now that are spending life in prison for selling a plant.
Yes,
and then you get these people, these jokers who are stealing millions and millions of dollars, and some of them get out on probation, shock time.
Yeah.
It's a very it's a pretty big miscarriage of justice.
How many stolen bags of money do you give this documentary?
Definitely 3.5, if not 4.
Yeah, that's good. I thought
it kept me. The only thing I kind of wish is I would have liked to see what the real Heather looks like from the first one, because that was actually an actress.
Right.
She was the only one out of all of them that said she didn't want to be on camera, which if you were telling everyone you were, performing sex magic, I don't blame you.
I'll be on camera doing sex magic.
Jake, you'd see him every Thursday at 9 a.m. when we're doing this.
Now you see it? Now you do. Now you see it? Now you do. Oh, look at that. My sex magic took the camera out.
He disappeared. So I guess it's my turn for next week, Dark Side of the Stream, and Jay's let me hold on to this one.
What are you doing?
Woodstock 99. Let's watch the world burn.
I watched it. It's a good one.
Perfect time.
Perfect timing too. We just had Woodstock a few weeks ago.
So we'll do Woodstock 99. And as always, you can download these podcasts on our 104.7 The Cap, wherever you get your apps or podcasts at. As always, Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7 The Cave. This is Jay Stevens. And I'm Mike the Intern.
Sex magicking out.
On 104.7 The Cave.